A very good evening to all. I, Aliza Shahid, welcomes you all on behalf of Hood Welfare Society. We have organized this event to give you a practical knowledge on how to use proper citations, which is very important for our every law student. Using a proper citation method will give a good impact on the mind of the readers and will also protect your articles from being plagiarized. I hope I hope this session will be helpful for all the attendees. Now, I would like to give a brief about Hood Welfare Society. It is a non-governmental organization dedicated to nurturing students for a better world. It aspires to facilitate students to harness their knowledge and intelligence in a smart way for the welfare of the society, working in the field of nourishment. Seeking students' nourishment is its main focus. Students themselves do charity in good and smart way with their knowledge and intelligence. Currently, Hood Welfare Society is working in 5 domains. Smriti, which works for social nourishment, Jeev Sharan Greh, which works for animal nourishment, Heal for medical nourishment, Swaraj for student nourishment, and Law Bloom for legal nourishment. Under Law Bloom, Hood Welfare Society organize events, provide opportunities to students and stakeholders. Law Bloom is a group of committed people across the country working selflessly for the welfare of underprivileged. The purpose of creating this domain is to serve a society through the people in legal field. This is a non-profit organization, hence you are direct beneficiary. Law Bloom collectively and voluntarily works to serve society and law at large. It is all for a noble cause. Swaraj is another domain of Food Welfare Society, which provides various opportunities for students' nourishment, where a student can enhance their knowledge. Under this domain, we offer internship opportunities, strengthen research skills, analytical and critical thinking skills, presentation and communication skills, etc. It is the best platform to teach students to build their interest. Today we have Mr. Abhijit Anand sir as a resource person of this workshop. He has done his post-graduation from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, and have done his graduation from Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, National Law University, Lucknow. He has 3.5 years experience of teaching at Global Law School, Global University, Saharanpur. Currently, he is pursuing full-time PhD from National Law University, Odisha. We also have our organizing committee, whose members are Mr. Abhinav Srivastav, President of Food Welfare Society, Mr. Akhtar Hussain Khan, Secretary, Ms. Asma Parveen, HR, Mr. Ayush Kumar, Chief Managing Head. Now, without wasting any more time, I would like to request Abhijit sir to carry forward the workshop. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aliza. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you. First of all, I thank you all for calling me and giving me an opportunity to interact with you, interact with the students and the volunteers of Food Welfare Society. Uh, Today, I have been asked to, speak something on citation methods. So we have already discussed that we'll be talking about 3 citation methods. The first one will be Blue Book citation method, and the second will be OSCULA, and the third will be Indian Law Institute method. And in the end of the workshop, we will discuss about the Mendeley software, which help us to organize or rearrange or manage our references and citations. So before going into the citation methods, I would like to say that what is the importance of citations? Why do we need citations and references while writing while writing an article or some scholarly piece? So for that purpose, we need to understand that the citations are very necessary because because they help, they first of all they show the depth of our research. Okay, because when you cite proper authorities and proper articles, it shows that you have done a proper research. By listing the sources you get for the information which you want to disseminate. And the second purpose, which is the second purpose of citation, is that it gives you a sense of responsibility. Because when you cite somebody's resources or pieces, you are acting like a responsible scholar, where you give due credit to the authors or the scholars which have already worked in that area, by acknowledging their efforts in your research or in your article. And the most important thing is that when you cite something or give proper references, then you protect yourself from the crime of plagiarism, which is the main thing. Because if you don't cite the proper authorities, or you will not if you don't give proper references, then you are committing a crime of plagiarism. Because sometimes when you don't cite or give proper references, it is meant that you are taking somebody else's ideas without acknowledging their efforts. Okay. And it is also important then when you make a proper citation or reference style, you allow your readers to get an idea or track down the source from where you have got that information. Okay, so these are the various purposes which are served by the citation or making a proper reference style. uh, I would also like to point out that there are different sources through which you make your reference style, or you make a bibliography or your footnotes. So primarily we know that there are two kinds of resources which you use. That the first one is the primary resources, means the case laws and the legislations. These are the primary sources which are used while writing a scholarly piece or an article. And the second is the secondary sources. The secondary sources means the sources which are secondary in nature. For example, the textbooks, the articles published in online journals, newspapers, blogs, websites. These are the secondary sources of law. Okay, so while writing an article or a scholarly piece, we use both these kind of resources, and proper citation and referencing is required. While we talk about citation methods, we'll see that there are different ways or different methods of citing these primary and secondary sources. And when we talk about blue book citation method or blue book reference style, we have a different way of citing these sources. And in Oscola we have some different way. Okay, but we'll see it at a later stage. But before going into the methods, I would also like to point out that there are certain keywords which we see while we read some articles. For example, I'm typing those words in the chat box. This uh, when we if you have read articles, you might have seen these words over there. Yeah, you might have seen supra, infra, ibid, and id. So what is the meaning of these words, and what do these words denote in that research piece? Okay, so I'll discuss these words in very brief, and then I'll discuss about blue book reference style, and at a later stage we'll discuss about Oscola. So here the word supra, you might have read in the footnotes that the word is written supra note this, supra note 8. What does it mean? The word supra refers to the source in a footnote that is not immediately above, but it has came any point of time when the article was written. Okay, so if suppose we have cited something at footnote number 10. Okay, now we want our readers to refer that particular reference again. So we'll write supra note 10, because we have given the main source at footnoting number 10. And now if you are citing the same source at footnoting number 18, for example, then there we can write supra note 10, because from there the readers will get an idea that this particular source is available at footnote number 10. Okay, now supra is generally used to refer all those sources which have already came in the text. Now infra, where we use word infra, we use word infra if we want to say, if we want to make readers aware of the fact that something is coming at the later stage of the article or the piece, but it has not been cited yet. Okay, now if you are citing that thing, citing that particular information or graph or anything which you want to, which you want to cite in the or write in the research paper, then you can write that I'll be discussing about this particular thing at infra 20. For example, if you are going to discuss, you have not discussed it yet, but you are going to discuss it in the later stage, and you can give it as footnoting number 20, because it will come at later stage. So supra generally discusses about the sources which have already came, and infra tells us those information which is below the citation, but it has not came yet. And the other word is ibid. Ibid and id are, they connote the same meaning. Okay. Now, what does ibid means? Ibid means it is used to refer any citation which has just immediately passed. For example, you have cited a source at reference number 19. Now the same source is to be used at footnoting number 20. Then there you can use ibid. Okay, or if that information is being used at later stage, then you can refer the original source by using id. For example, if the original source is at footnoting number 10, then if the same source is coming at footnoting number 11, then you can write ibid. And if the same source is being cited at some other footnoting, for example footnoting number 20, then you can see that then you can write id 10, id at 10, because it will give a sense that the same source has been cited at footnoting number 10. So we can use supra and id interchangeably. Okay, now the basic purpose of using these words is to use the space and repetition of those citations again and again. So we can use these four words while while doing while writing an article or research paper, in order to save time and in order to save space as well. Now talking about the blue book citation method. Uh, Now today we are we have the 21st edition of blue book citation method, but I will be discussing about the 19th edition, because there are very minor changes in 20th and 21st edition, and you can refer them as in some you will get those information on internet as well. So I will not be discussing about those changes, because the changes are very minor, and most of the times we see that when you are asked to write an article, they generally ask about blue book 19th edition, or if the edition is there, then you can see the minor changes which have taken place. Okay, so before going into the citation styles, I would like to tell that while in blue book citation method, there are certain guidelines which are to be followed. Okay. Now, now you already know that the footnote generally comes on the lower part of the same page, and the bibliography or the references comes at the very last stage of your article or your paper, where you just give a annotate bibliography of the sources which you have used in your research paper. So the basic difference between bibliography and footnoting is that footnoting just comes on the same page where you have cited the resource cited the source on the lower part of the page, and bibliography comes at the very last stage of your research paper. So while citing something on the footnote in blue book citation style, you need to you need to make it very clear, and you should not you should use clear words with proper full stops. Okay. And if the cited phrase or idea is inside the bracket, the footnote should be before the closing footnote should be before closing the bracket. For example, if we are talking we generally insert footnote by keyboard by using control alt f. From there you can insert footnotes on the in your article. So the short key for inserting footnotes is CTRL plus Alt. Okay, so this is the short key for for entering your footnotes, and that footnote which you have given, when you enter this, you will start seeing that number 1 2 3 will start coming automatically. So that number one, when you are entering into the main text, not in the footnotes, that should be within the bracket, or that should be within the footnotes, not outside the bracket, not outside the footnote. Okay. So this is the first thing you should focus on. And I have already told that footnote should be closed with a full stop. And if you are using different sources in order to cite the same information, for example, there could be case laws where the same thing has been repeated by the court, or maybe you are using different books in order to cite the same thing, then you can cite the first source, then give a semicolon, and then give the other source, and then put a full stop. So if there are more than 2 or 3 citations, then each of that citation will be differentiated by, or will be differentiated by a semicolon. And those references, those footnotings will be in order, in such order that we will cite will cite the oldest citation, then the newer citation, and the newest citation. Okay. So when we cite the references, when we cite the sources in the footnotes, then we need to see that the oldest source should come first, then the newer source, and the at last the which is the latest source which you are citing, and they should be in a chronological order. Okay. So this is the thing which is to be seen at the initial stage. So now coming to the sources, there are different sources. Now there are different sources where where we cite different kinds of sources by categorizing them in primary and secondary sources. So as I've already told that, now the primary sources consist of case laws and the legislations, and The secondary sources consist of textbooks, articles, newspapers, and other online and offline journals. So we'll discuss about the primary sources first, and then we will discuss about the secondary sources. Now, when we talk about the case laws, how to cite case laws, most of you might be aware of the thing that we just write the petitioner, we put a small v, that is versus, and second the defendant, plaintiff or defendant, petitioner or respondent, and then the citation where it includes the year in which the judgment was pronounced. If there is a volume number of the reporter, for example, in India we have All India Reporter, SCC, SCC, Supreme Court cases, and we have other state reporters, case law reporters. So we need to write the name of the parties. The first party will be the plaintiff or the petitioner, and the second party will be the defendant or respondent. And then in the brackets we will write, I'm giving an example in the chat box, like this. We can use this way. Here the thing which is in bracket 1971 is the year of judgment, okay, and 3 is the volume of the reporter, okay, and WRR is the name of the reporter. If we are talking about the Indian law reporters, we can use AIR or SAC in the abbreviated form, okay. Now the 370 is the name of the page number from where you can find the case, or suppose we are talking about All India Reporter, and if there would have been AIR in place of WRR and 370, then in the All India Reporter at page number 370 we can find the case. So the last part is the page number. Before that we generally see the name of the reporter, and before that we see the volume number of the reporter, and before that we see the year in which the judgment was pronounced, okay. So this is the general method. Now if the name of the parties is coming in the main text, not in the footnote, then in the footnote we will just write the citation, not the whole name, okay. If we have, suppose if we have said we have written a name in a case, suppose we have given the name, for example, PUCL versus Union of India. Now if you have written PUCL versus Union of India in the main text, then you need not to write the name of the case in the footnote, you just give the citation, okay. And if you have not given the name of the case in the main text, then you should follow the style which I have pasted in the chat box, okay. So this is the way for citing the case laws in blue book format. Now now coming to the legislations, how would you cite the legislations? Okay, there is a particular format in blue book. I'm pasting in the chat box. Yes, first of all we would write the act name. What is the name of that? Suppose we are talking about the Consumer Protection Act, that will be the name of the act, okay. And act number, when you see the act which have there are different acts passed in the parliament, okay. So every act gets a number, okay. So you have to write the name of the act, then the act number, then after you have to write the acts of the parliament and year in which it was passed, okay. Now we in bracket I have written India if not evident from the context. Now suppose I'm talking about the Consumer Protection Act, then every country has its own Consumer Protection Act, okay. So if the name of the country is in that particular in the name of the act, then you need not to mention the country's name. If it is not evident from the name of the act, now suppose I'm talking about Indian Penal Code, so from there you can infer that this particular act is talking about Indian laws. Now, if there is a act which does not mention the name of the country, then you need to write the name of the country in the brackets while citing the legislation. This particular method should be followed while citing something in the footnotes. Now, if you are citing this in the bibliography, okay, then just the name of the act should be there. Okay, nothing else will be there. Okay. Now, suppose if you're citing the Indian Constitution, for example, Indian Constitution in the footnoting. So this will be the format for citing the Indian Constitution. India const full stop. You need not to write the Constitution in fully. You just write const full stop ART in small letters, Article 1, comma CL2. CL2 means clause 2. Okay, so this should, you can for example, you're citing Article 368. So you can write here Art 368 clause 3. Okay, you can cite any of the articles, but the way in which the articles from the Constitution shall be cited will be in this manner. Now, so these are the two ways in which we can cite the case laws and the legislations. Okay, so these are the two primary sources where you can use you can use for legislation. You can use the act name, act number, and then you can write comma, then you can write the acts of the parliament and the year or of volume. Means I'll paste an example for that also. uh, this is the way in which you should cite a legislation. Okay, suppose we are talking about the Copyright Amendment Act 1992. So here the Copyright Amendment Act 1992 is the name of the act. Number 13 is the number of the act which was passed in 1992, comma, acts of the parliament. Okay, and now year in which it was passed, again 1992, and in brackets we will write India. So this is the way through which you can cite legislations. Okay, so I think I'm done with the primary sources, how to cite primary sources in blue book citation style. For now, if you have any questions, I'm open for questions, or should I proceed? Okay, so or if you have any questions, we can discuss in the last stage of our workshop. So now, when we talk about secondary sources, I have told that books can be a form of secondary sources. So most of the times, what happens is there can be one author in the book, there can be two authors, there can be three authors, or there can be more than three authors. Okay, so we have a different way of citing those books. Now, if there is a single author, then we have a specific method. If we have two authors, then also we have a specific method. And if we have three authors, then we have a specific method. So I'll write that particular way through which you can cite the book. Okay. Here, while citing a book, you need to write the name of the author, comma, what is the title of the book, and in brackets the edition of the book. For example, you are referring the second edition of a book, then you should write second edition and year in which it was published. Okay, so I'll give an example of it. Now, if there is no edition, suppose it is sometimes you don't have any edition in the book, so you need not to write edition. Okay, uh, sometimes if there are different editions, then you should be particular about the site, about the number of edition which you are referring in your references. Okay, so this is an example of, you know, example of a book which has been cited. Now this is Roger Sexton and Barbara. Okay, this is Barbara Bogus. This is the name of the, these are the name of the authors. Now we have seen that the word and has been used because there are two authors. Now if there would have been one author, the and would not have been used. Simply the name of the author, the title of the book, and if the edition is there, then you should cite the edition within the brackets, or if the edition is not available, just cite the year in which it was published. Okay, so this is the way through this is the way in which you can cite a book. Now if there are three authors, then you should write the name of the first author, comma, second author, then use and the third author, and the same thing will be followed. Okay, this is the example of the this is the example where the number of authors are 3. See, here we have written author number 1, then the author number 2, and then author number 3, then the title, in brackets the edition and the year in which it was published. Okay, so after the third author, you need to put a comma, then title. Okay, within brackets you need to write the, see, 18 ed means it is the 18th edition of the book and it was published in 2001. So this is the way through which you can cite books. Okay, now it depends on the number of authors, and if suppose there the number of the authors is more than 3, then what should be followed? We simply use word at all. We simply use word at all, means it includes other authors also. Okay, you should write the number of the first author. This particular citation style will be followed once the number of authors is more than 3. If it is 1, then I told you the style. If the authors are 2, then also we have a different style. But if the number of authors is 3, is more than 3, then you should use this style where you need to write author, the first author, then you write to et al, full stop, then comma, then the title of the book, and in brackets you need to write the edition and the year in which the book was published. Okay, so this is the way through which you can cite various books in the Blue Book citation style. Okay. Now I'm sharing a document through which you can be easily, it will be easy for you to see the things which I'm discussing. Is it visible, Aliza?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, so now when I was talking about the books, see, when we are talking about the secondary sources, here is the reference style for the citation style for the author when there is a single author. Okay, here Robert Stewart is the name of the author. Landlaw is the name of the book, title of the book, and in brackets it is third edition, and this is the name of the publication. If you want to write it, you can write it, but generally it is not required. Okay, and this is the year of publication. Okay, now this is the second example for the single author. Now this is the, when there are two authors, we can see that we have the first author, then we are using this symbol and then second author is this, and this and after that we put a comma, and then again the title of the book. And if the edition is not available, we just write the year in which it was published. Okay. So now when we have three authors, how to write the what is the method for writing, what is the method of writing the citation? We need to write the name of the first author, comma, the second author, and we use the symbol of and then the third author. Okay, then the third author, title, then the title of the book, again the edition and the year in which it was published. Okay. This is the method where we when we use the when we have more than three, means four or more than four authors, then we just simply write the name of the author, first author, and we use et al, and we use comma and the title and edition and the year of the book in which it was published. Okay. So this is the way through which we can cite books. Now what if there are articles? Okay. How to cite articles from the journals which are published? Okay, then we can see that this is the basic way through which you can cite the different articles. No, you need to write the name of the author on the first thing, on the first, then comma, then title in italics. The title should be italics. As you can see that Matthew Gibson is the name of the author, and then we have the title of the paper in italics. Okay, and then we need to write the name of the journal. It can be in full. The name of the journal can be in full form, or we can use abbreviations. Both are fine. Okay, if you want to want to write in a simple way, you can just use abbreviations. And then the first page of the article. Now suppose if in that journal the article starts at page number 597, then you should write the first page on which the article has started, and then you need not to write anything, and then the year in which it was published. Okay, so this is the way through which you can write the you can cite the articles which are published offline. Okay, now in the published offline. Now if the articles are online, okay, no, if the you know you have got that article online, then you just give the link of that article. Or if that is not, you have just got that article online, then you need to just put the link, or you can say the URL of that article from where you receive that article. That is for online articles. But if the journal is published offline, then you need to cite in this manner. Then we also use websites and blogs. Now websites and blogs, suppose we are using a certain kind of website, or suppose there are certain people who write their blogs. For example, if you refer Gautam Bhatia's blog and you got some information which you want to cite in your piece, then how to cite that particular blog which is helpful for your research or the topic which you are writing on? You just need to write the title. Okay, you just need to write the title, then comma, and then the website from where you have got the website. See here, the name of the website is Marilyn Stock. It is the name of the website from where the things have been it is the name of the website from where the material was taken. Okay, so you need to, for example, if you are taking in Indian context, you are taking something from, you know, you can use any of the website. Okay, now suppose you are taking it from the website of the print, for example. Okay, now you are taking from the print or the quint or somewhere, then you can simply write the print here or the quint, then the date on which you have taken the date on which it was published. You need to write the date on which you have publish the date on which you have accessed the article at the very last part of the source. For example, here, now see, here we need to, first of all, we need to write the title of the blog, then the website from where it has been taken, and the date on which it was published on the blog, or it was published on the website, for example. Then the URL of the website. See, this is the URL. URL means the link, and you need, when sometimes you paste the link, a blue line comes in. You need to remove that hyperlink. Okay, no hyperlink is allowed while writing, referencing and footnoting. So you need to remove the hyperlink, and then at last you need to write it when you last visited the website, or the last date on which you have taken the content from the website. Then you need to write the date on which you have accessed the website. So this is the way through which you can, cite anything which you have taken out from a particular website or a blog. So and most of you have seen, while writing, while reading anything which was written in a blue book reference style, most of the people write with last visited on. So it is not required it is not required in every source. When you are specifically you are referring any website or blog, then only you need to write last visited. Otherwise, you need not to write last visited kind or any date. It is to be written only in relation to the websites and blogs. Okay, now we also cite newspapers. Now there can be newspapers. If see, newspapers, now we have printed, we have printed newspapers as well as we have online newspapers. So there are two different ways of citing both these newspapers. If the newspaper is printed, it is in printed form. Okay, now if suppose you have a newspaper, for example the Hindu, in a printed form, then you just need to write the author's name. Now suppose something has been written by the some piece you have found in the newspaper, and that was anyhow related to your research article or your piece which you are writing in, then you just need to write the author, name of the author. Okay, who has written the piece, then the title in italics, what is the name of the title. Okay, then the name of the newspaper. For example, we refer the newspaper the Hindu, then you should write, then here we have written the use newspaper the Guardian, because this has been taken from the newspaper the Guardian. So in every of the site, in every of the different the title, you need to see that the title should be in italics. Okay, and then year of publication, or in which year the article was published, and then add, if you remember the page number, then you can write the page number as well. Okay, see here, for example, the Robert Simmons was the author, then comma, it was the title of the article, then comma, the name of the newspaper and the year in which it was published, and add what is the page number. Now suppose that article was of 2 pages, and it was covered at page number 22 and 23 both, then you need to write the both pages. Otherwise, if the article is at just one page, then you should write that just one number of the page, that one page, sorry, the single page. Okay, now if the newspaper is published online, for example, if the newspaper is published online, then the same thing, the name of the author, the title in italics, the newspaper, the name of the newspaper, and the year of publication in brackets, and the URL, the link of that article which is available in online. But that should be in this form. We have to, we have to use these two symbols. When we are starting the URL, then we have to use this symbol, and when we are ending this, when we are ending the URL, then we have to use this. You have to use this symbol. And here we don't need to write the date of access on the date which you have accessed the article. Okay, so one thing I would like to tell you, that when you're talking about the articles on the websites and blogs, then if the name of the author is also available, then you can use the name of the author before the title. If if the blog is unanimous, then you can just write the title as well. So these are the ways through which you can cite different sources in footnotes. And what do you do in bibliography? What do you do in bibliography is just in bibliography you need to just in what I told you is you need to use the name of the author, means the first name and then the surname, okay, in footnoting. And when you are writing that footnote in referencing or in bibliography, you have to just change the first name with the surname, and then the first name will come after surname, and the same thing, and the rest of the things will be same. So this is the difference while writing in a bibliography and in a footnoting. When you write in a footnoting, you have to name, suppose for example my name is Abhijit Anand, then if you're citing my article, then you just you write Abhijit Anand in the footnote. But if you are citing my article in referencing or in bibliography, you just have to put my surname before and then my first name, and then the rest of things will be in the same manner. So this is the way through which you can enhance your bibliography by using Blue Book citation style. And the only difference in bibliography and difference in footnoting is that we use author's first name and surname in footnoting, and in bibliography we just interchange it. We use the surname first and then the first name of the author. I made all you. I was able to express my things in a proper manner so that you could have understand all those things. So if you have any question at this point, we can discuss those issues, or we will start with the Oscola referencing style. Any of you have any questions or queries or any feedback if you are not able to understand what I'm saying? Okay.
So they can also type in chat box if they are having problem to speak.
Pardon? What did you say?
So I'm just asking the participants if they have problem in saying, so they can also write in the chat box also.
If they are feeling shy, they can write in the chat box. Okay,
Yes.
or you can text your queries to the moderator, and she will convey it to me as well.
Yes, sir.
Now I think when I
Sir,
started, yes.
Sir, I have a query.
Yes.
So while writing, if I, take something from an article, but even in that article, they have taken that part from somewhere else. So there is one original source, and then there's this article. So do I need to mention both the sources, or just the original source would be enough?
See, when suppose there was a judgment. For example, there was a judgment which was given by the Supreme Court. Okay, now any of the author has written or just formulated or paraphrased that particular judgment in his own language and written an article on that. Okay, now if you are taking that thing from his article, okay, from his article, you just need to cite the source from which you have taken. you need not to bother about the original source. Okay, now if you are if you are referring the original source, then you can cite the original source. So basically I am trying to say that it should be your choice. Now if you can give its proper reference and proper citation, then you can use either of them. But what I'm saying is if you have read it somewhere, then you should use that proper source rather than going to its original source.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other query?
So I want to ask that what is the proper manner to cite some specific sections from any part of legislation?
So if I have given an example earlier. Now suppose you are talking, if you want to write if you want to cite a particular section from Indian Penal Code or Criminal Procedure Code or any of the act, okay, then what do? You should just give the name of the act, okay, name of the act, comma, section. For example, I am just giving an example in the chat box. You can see it. See, or I can show because I have shared the thing. See, from here, suppose the author wanted to cite section 6 subsection 2A of the Consumer Protection Act, for example. Okay. So what did he do? He just writes the name of the act and then refers to the section. And see, for sometimes what happens is if you are citing the legislation in the main text, for example, you have written this thing in the main text, okay, and you have not written the section number, then you can write the section in the footnote, or you have just written that section 6(2) of Consumer Protection Act says this, then you need not to write it in the footnote. Now, if you have just written the wordings of the section and you need to cite the source of that particular text, then you can write this kind of thing, this particular method in the footnoting. Okay, so you can write a specific provision in the text itself, or if you don't have, you have not cited the name of the legislation or a particular section of the legislation, then you can cite it on the in the footnote itself, just mentioning that this is the meaning, this is the thing which I want to convey from this act. Now you can write the name of the act and the section which says so in the footnote. Did you understand,
Thank you,
Saurabh?
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir, I understood.
So shall we proceed with OSCOLA format?
So there's a question in chat box also.
Sir, how do you cite when any fact or data is from report? Say Okay, so you can you can use there is a different way of citing those what do you say law commission's report. Okay, for example, if it is a law commission report, it is a law commission report from India. Okay, then you need to write law commission. Okay, law commission report, comma, the title of the title, or you can say the subject on which that report was based. Okay, so you can use that kind of format. I'll text you the format at the I'll text you the format. Okay. Once I'm done with the once I'm done with the lecture, I'll text you the format in which the law commission reports are to be cited. So simply you just write. You need to write the law commission report, comma, and then the title or the subject on which the report was based, and then the year, I think, then you need to write the year. Okay, just let me check, am I right or not? And I'm just discussing about main things which you generally use. And for that, if you want to get a detailed thing, then I can send you some PDFs also, which can be shared by you, and you can get a much more clarity. Because at this, I'm not able to share each and everything, but I'm just telling you those things which you generally use in, while writing an article in will use while writing an article. Because there are so many things you should take care of. Okay, but the ways or the methods can be different kinds of methods. Okay, but I'm just talking about those sources which you generally use. So I was you were asking about the report. The question was that how to cite any fact or data from the report. Okay, so you just cite the source, or for example, uh, I gave you an example of Indian law report, in law commissions. So you just write the law commission, okay, law commission, then the report number and the year in the brackets. Okay, I'm just law commission, law commission. Where is it? Law commission, law commission, report title, year. Okay, so this should be the way in which you should cite the law commission reports. Or if there is a report number. Okay, now there can be, if there is a report number, then also you can I add report number before the year. Anishka, so this is the way in which you should cite the law commission reports. You should write law commission report title, and if the number of the report is there, and then the year in which you need to. This is the way in which you can cite the law commission reports. Any other questions? Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now I'll start with the Oscula format, and we have to finish it by 6:30. So uh, uh, again, I already told that there can be two sources, primary and secondary. So in this, generally the primary sources are case laws and statutes. So case laws, how do we cite case laws is Oscula format. Now, while citing case laws in footnotes, you need to give the name of the case. Okay, just name of the case, and name of the case means PUCL versus Union of India. This is the name of the case, and then the volume number, and then they see there is a thing which is called neutral citation. In Oscula we use neutral citation also somewhere. So neutral citation is something where you just you don't need the information about the law reporter. You just get an information about the, because by the number of the case. For example, uh, if there is a case which was cited in, in a particular year, then you can just get a neutral citation by just referring a particular case number. You need not to see the volume and everything. So this is there is a utility of neutral citation in Oscula also. But generally the name of the case is given in the is given, and we just write the citation as I already told you. Okay, the year in which the judgment was given, then the volume, if there is any volume of the reporter, and the name of the reporter, and the page number on which the the article or the case is available. Now again we need to see here that if the case is given in the main text, then we should just write only the citation in the footnote, or we just give a footnoting and then we can write both name of the case and citation in the footnote. So it depends on you whether you want to write the name of the case and footnote, name of the case and the citation in the footnote, or you want to write the name of the case in the main text and the citation in the footnote. It is it is totally up to you. Okay, so this is the way in which you cite a case in a OSCOLA format. What you just do is write the name of the parties and then write the citation. If you have written the name of the parties in the main text, you can give the citation in the footnotes, or you can write the name of the parties and footnotes both, name of the parties and citation both in the footnotes. Okay, so and now coming to the legislation. How would you cite a legislation? How do you cite a legislation? See, as I told, if you have cited something from a legislation, then if you have given the name of the legislation in the main text, then you need not to write the. I'm again sharing the Word document so that you can see it properly. Okay, see. How to cite legislation in OSCOLA format? Okay. A citation in a footnote is not required when citing legislation if it all information the reader needs about the source is provided in the text. For example, from the Human Rights Act 1998, you have written something. So, okay, this case highlights the far-reaching judicial role asserted in the Human Rights Act 1998. So if you have written the name of the legislation in the main text, then you need not to write it in the footnote. Now, if you have just given the intent of the legislation in the text, then you can give it a footnoting, or then you can write the proper legislation which is talking about the text which you have referred above. Okay, so you can see the difference here that the legislation was written in the main text. Now here the intent of the legislation is written in the main text but not the name of the legislation. So we can write it in the footnoting. Okay, so this is the way through which you can write the citations. And I just wanted to show you that I wrote an article in OSCOLA format, so from there you can get an idea as well. See here, Aliza, is this visible? This document is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see here you can see that we have footnoting number, footnoting number 1 over here. Okay, you can see this, the area which has been highlighted by me, the text which has been highlighted. Okay, so what happened? We did not write the name of the case here. We just gave the footnote, and we gave the name of the case over here and the citation, and the second case and the citation. Okay, and see again, you need to see that just the name of the case, the case again is in chronology. This is the case of 1974 and this is the case of 1978. So again, you need to follow the chronology which I told you earlier, that when you are citing the same when you are citing different sources for the same information, they should be in a chronological order as well. Okay, so this is the way through which you can cite the case laws. Now coming to the legislations, how to cite legislations, I will show you some of the instances in this. See, if you see here footnoting number 27, if I can zoom a little bit. See, footnoting number 27, here you have written the citation. and you can see here we have written the name of the case in the main text. Okay, so you can, while citing the case laws, you can use either of these methods to cite your case laws. Okay. And I'm searching about the legislation. Okay, see, legislation. See here, the area, this highlighted text. This is the UN standard minimum rules for the treatment of prisoners. Okay. So what we can do is we can just give a, if we go with the footnoting number 66, where is it? See here. Okay, we have given the name. Okay, we have given the name of the legislation over here, and then we have given the footnoting also. Okay, so you can use this kind of method. Here you see, here we have given the rule number also. Okay, in the citation number 67, see, we have not given the name of the legislation fully. So we have just given the pet name of the act, and we have given the full name of the act in the footnoting. So you can cite the name of the legislation in this manner. Okay, so what do you do is just write the name of the legislation, comma, and you should write the name of the section which you are referring from that particular legislation. Okay, so this is the way in which you can cite those two primary sources. Now we have secondary sources also. How to cite authored books in OSCOLA format. How to cite authored books. So you one thing I want to tell you, that there can be two types of book. One is the authored book and the other is edited book. Most of the law books are authored books. For example, in Law of Torts, all of you might have heard about the book Law of Torts by R.K. Bangia. See, okay, or Constitutional Law by M.P. Jain. So what are these? These are the books which are authored books, because the single author has written the whole book. And what is edited? What is edited book? Edited book means somebody has written that book, and that book was edited by other people, other members. For example, there can be 2 editors, 3 editors, or 4 editors. It depends. Or similarly, there can be 1 author, 2 author, 3 author. Can be different number of authors also. So, or there can be translation also. If the book is in English language, or in suppose the book is in French language. So if somebody translates that book, then also you need to cite that particular person, that this person has translated the book. So for that purpose, we have certain abbreviations. Suppose if the book has been translated, then we use, I'll tell you I'll show you. You see here, what does it say? If there is no author, generally it doesn't happen. If there is no author, cite the editor or translator, as you would have an author adding the brackets with their names ed. What does ed represents? It represents the editor or the tr, translator. And if there are more than one editor or translator, then you can use eds or trs. Okay, so how to cite an authored book? So for that purpose, you need to write the author name of the author, comma, then the title of the book in italics, for example here, and then the additional information. What is that additional information? Additional information includes the edition, which I've already told, there can be number of editions of a book. The publisher, what is the name of the publisher? Suppose the Indian constitutional law by MP Jain is published by LexisNexis. So LexisNexis is the name of the publisher, and the year means the year in which the book was published. Now I have written 825. If you are referring a specific page number in the book, now suppose from the book of MP Jain you have, which is of 7th edition and published by LexisNexis in 2014, from that book you have used page number 825 in order to cite something in your article, then you can write the page number also. If you don't want to mention page number, that is okay, but if you want to make your readers more specific about the information which you have shared, then you can write the page number also. For example, in the second example, this is the name of the author, this is the title of the book, which should be in italics. OUP, Oxford University Press. This is the name of the name of the publisher, and this is the year of the book, the year in which it was published. So we have not written the edition because there might have been no edition of this book. Okay, so this is the way in which you can cite the authored book. Okay, or see here, if the number of authors is 3 or more than 1, then yeah, the first author, the second, and the third. And we don't, in Blue Book, what did we do? We just use the symbol of and. But here what we will write? We will write the full word and. After, if there are 2 authors, then we would have used word and here. And if there are 3 authors, then we will use, after first and second author, we will use the word and in order to tell that this is the third author. Now this is the name of the book. Okay, so this is an additional information. Here is the word additional information is here. This is the additional information which we need not to write always. Okay, so this is the 7th edition. Sweet and Maxwell is the name of the publisher, and 2009 is the year of publication. Okay, now how to cite edited books and translated books. As I discussed about edited books and translated books. So if there is an author in the edited book, just then the name of the author, then the title of the book within one single inverted commas, not double, single inverted commas, and then the name of the editors. If there is single editor, then we will use ed. If there are more than one editors, then we will use eds and their names over here. Then the title of the book, then the publisher and the year. For example, you can see here Brandon Rottinghaus and Alex C. Ewald. These were the editors of the book, not the authors. Okay, these were the editors of the book. For example, if he would have been the author and Alex C. Ewald would have been editor, then I would have removed this S from here, and then okay, then I would have given the title of the book over here. Okay, see, here I have made this man Brandon as the main author and Alex C. Ewald as what? Editor. Okay, and this is the name of the book. This is, and the first edition, Cambridge University Press, year of publication. Okay, and this is the page number from where I have cited something. Okay, so, and if this would have been a translated book, then you would have used word TRS here in place of EDM. Okay, is there any problem till now? Is there any, everything is clear? Okay. So, okay, now how to cite journals? How to cite journals? I already told that there can be 2 kinds of journals. One is offline and the second is online journal. So when you talk about the online journals, sorry, offline journals, then again you need to write the name of the author, then the title in single inverted commas with in italics. Every time you need to write the title, it should be in italics. Okay, so author comma title in single inverted commas, year of publishing, when the article was published, the journal name or abbreviation. Suppose for example it was published in criminal law journal, so either we can write the criminal law journal fully, or we can write CRLJ in abbreviation, and the first page of the article. Suppose in that journal the article which you have cited starts from the page number 129 and inside 140, so you just write just 129 and not the not you just write 129, and rest of the things need not to be written. Okay, here if the journal has certain volumes, okay, if it is a periodical, or there is, suppose the journal is published twice in a year. Okay, so there can be, or there are different volumes of the journal, then after the year of its publication you should write the volume. For example, I'll give you an example from this. Yes. This was an online journal. Okay, see here, if you see this footnote number 8, okay, footnote number 8, just the part which has been highlighted here, what we have done, we have written the name of the author, the title of the paper, year in which it was published, the volume, and the edition. There can be different volumes and different editions, so you need to write the volume number and the edition in bracket, and the name of the journal. This is the name of the journal. It is not in abbreviated form. I have written the full name of the journal. You can write the abbreviation of the journal also. Okay, so because it was available online, so I have given the online source also. See, and here you need not to write the online source, because we are talking about the printed journals. So everything is same, except if it is an online, you have to just write the URL and the access date on it was accessed. Suppose this was the URL, again you have to remove the hyperlink as well. You need not to write the URL in hyperlink. You have to write it in within. You have to put this kind of, that we used to greater than, smaller than kind of symbol. Then we used to we have to use the symbol smaller than, and at the end of it we have to use greater than symbol, and the date of the access on which you have accessed the journal. So if it is if it is online, then you should use this format, and if it is in offline or it is a printed form, you need not to write this particular thing. Okay, so this is regarding the journals. And again, websites and blogs. For example, if there is a website or blog, again, if there is no author, you just simply start from a title. You just simply start from a title and the website. Okay, and the website from it. See, adrindia.org is the name of the website, and the date on which it was published with the brackets closed, and again the link and the date on which it was accessed. So if there is a name of, suppose for example I write my name over here, so this would be the author's name. If the name of the author is available at the website or the blog, then you can write the name of the author, and then the same things will be then you write to, you need not, you have to repeat the same thing. If the name of the author is not there, the piece is anonymous, then you can use this format where you can use the title of the article. In brackets you need to write the name of the website and the date in which the article was published, and then the hyperlink, and at last then the link of the link of the website from where the information was taken. And when you close it, you close the URL. See, this is the hyperlink. You need to remove this hyperlink. Okay, if it is in this manner, this won't be accepted. So you just want to do it black and do it. Okay, now the hyperlink is gone, and you can put those in this hyperlink is here. Okay, so this is the way through which you can, through which you can cite websites and blogs. Again, the newspapers, how to cite newspapers. Now, if again the newspaper is in online form, okay, if it is in online form, then when citing a newspaper article, give the author's name, the title. See, the name of the author is S.Y. Qureshi, the title of the article, and in brackets, the name of the newspaper. The Tribune is the name of the newspaper, then comma, and the date in which it was published. And sometimes what do they is they ask you for the place also. Place means place from where the newspaper is published. Okay, if you don't write it, it is okay, but generally they ask you to write the place of the newspaper from where it has been published, so you need not to write it. Okay, so this is the way through in which you can cite the newspapers. What you do is just write the name of the author, then the title of the article in the single inverted comma, and brackets the name of the newspaper, and the name of the newspaper should be in italics, and the date on which the article was published, bracket closed, and then the link of the newspaper or the article, and the date on which it was accessed. So this is the way of citing newspapers. Okay, so how, and the difference in footnoting and bibliography is that in footnotes you generally write the name, the first name and the surname. But in Oscola, what do is you just write the surname and first initial of name of the first initial of the first name. For example, see here, Elizabeth Fisher is the name of the author. Now, if you have written it in your citation, then how would you cite it in the bibliography? You will write the second name here and the initial of the first name, E. For example, if my name is Abhijit Anand, okay, and this is the thing which we have cited. Okay, now this will be the way of citation in the footnotes. Now, if I want to cite this in my bibliography, what will I do? I will write like this. Then the rest of the things will be same. Okay, so this is the basic difference in the bibliography and footnoting. So in Blue Book, what we have seen is that we just interchange them, means name and surname are interchanged in the bibliography. But in Oscola, what we do is we just replace the first name with the surname, and then we use the first initial of the first name and nothing else. So this is the only difference between footnoting and bibliography, and rest of the things will, if you are writing this thing in bibliography or citing a newspaper, you have cited a newspaper article in footnote and you want to put it in the bibliography, the manner will be same. This change will only be there if there is a name. For example, if you are writing this, then you have to just put it first. Okay. You have to just change the name wala part and other things will remain same. Is that clear? And suppose if your book wala jo part hai. Okay. Or should I show in my bibliography? Just a second. See what is. I have done everything. It was Susan Easton in the footnoting. Now here it is Easton S. Easton S. Dhami MK. Black T. Okay. So this is the way of using it in the bibliography. And one thing you should also note that while you are arranging your bibliography, that should always be arranged in the alphabetical order every time. Any bibliography, if you have marked your bibliography, then that should be in alphabetical order. Means first thing we'll start everything with A, and we can do it by inward also. There is a system where you can there is a menu where you can click it, and it will automatically arrange your bibliography in alphabetical order. So and this kind of requirement is in both Blue Book and OSCOLA. The referencing or bibliography should be in alphabetical order. Sir, if there is more than one name, then how to write in bibliography? Okay, I have just shown it. No, see here. Here we have three authors. Anishka, if you can see here, we have three authors. Okay. Now, if I can show you the, main footnoting, then you might see here what you see: Susan Easton, Tim Black, and Mandeep K. Dhami. These are the three authors over here. Okay, in the footnoting. Now, when we go in the bibliography, how do we cite it? We cite it in this manner. Okay, the surname will come first and the initial of the first name will be written. Okay, see Susan Easton, the initial of the first initial of the first name is S. Tim Black, the Black is the second name. Tim, T is the first initial. Mandeep K. Dhami, Dhami is the surname, and MK is the first initial of the first and second name. Okay, is that clear? Aliza, Anishka, is it clear?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So, do you have any questions or anything which you want to ask regarding these two citation styles?
No, sir, it's pretty clear.
Okay. So, I'll send you the concise guide of these two citation styles also, where you can get a deeper knowledge of writing writing a proper research paper by using different kinds of research styles. I just discussed only those things which are generally used by the scholars or the students. Okay, and if you want to get a deeper knowledge, I'll share some sort of I'll share some sort of PDFs which can be forwarded by the moderator or the other member of the volunteer of the Hood Welfare Society to make you better understand. But nowadays, universities are asking about Oscula format generally. So every format has its own use, but you will only come to know once you are asked to write in a particular format. Okay, so you can use any of these formats, and you can refer those concise guides also for better understanding. Maybe because I may not have been that able to make you understand those things, but once you read it by yourself, you can understand it in a better manner. Yes, Vanshika, do you have any question? Beta Vanshika, do you have any question?
No, sir.
Okay, just unmuted your mic, so I thought you have a question or something. So I'm done for the day, and if you have any questions, you can give it to your volunteer or moderator, or we can move to our topic, next topic tomorrow.
So I think Secretary of Food Welfare Society wants to say something.
Yes, yes.
Akhtar bhai, okay, so I think it was by mistake. Participants, kindly fill the feedback form, and tomorrow you all have to join with the same link. Thank you so much for joining today's session.
Thank you all for listening me so peacefully and patiently. I will see you tomorrow at 5. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Aliza. Thank
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 you.
you,
you so
sir.
much, sir. Uh, Alexa, I can't access the feedback form link or even the chat box. Is there any technical glitch?
It's there in the chat
Okay.
box. I think somebody sent
No,
me.
I can't actually access the chat box itself.
So
It's not showing on
Aliza,
my
can
screen.
you help her regarding feedback form? She is not able to access it.
We'll contact you if you are not able to fill it. Okay.
Or you can
Okay,
fill it
thank you
in
so
the,
much.
is there any deadline for filling this feedback form?
I think, sir, that will Asma will tell us about that.
Okay. So you can contact Asma as well. Okay. So students, see you tomorrow at 5. Thank you. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.